the crisis, create the terror group, turn them loose, and then let them basically take over society, and then pose as saviors to then counter them. So we're going to look back at the BART police shooting of Oscar Grant, where the police said that he had assaulted them. They had video of it, but the truth is he didn't resist. They put him down on his stomach and shot him through the back, through his heart. And then they tried to grab everybody's cell phones so that no one could document it. The trouble was someone hid behind a seat in a train and got the execution on video. And it doesn't matter if you're a poor white Appalachian white or a poor inner city black. The attitude is you can basically be executed and nobody gets in trouble. And more the police are being turned into a paramilitary to basically wage war on who they've been trained their enemy is, and that's the American people. Now, a lot of departments have resisted this, but a lot of departments have succumbed to it. And everyone needs to understand that when they're done setting the precedent on poor people of getting away with this, it's going to be moved against the real target, gun owners, returning veterans, libertarians, Christians, conservatives, because that's who this is really being prepared for. And I always told you that, and now it's public. Obama said 2 days ago on Sunday in a New York Times article that the main threat is conservatives and the fact that we won't compromise and that we've radicalized the media. When he says conservatives, he says the radicals that have taken it over, the Tea Party, that's the libertarian 1776ers who understand the battle space, understand the game, understand what's being done, understand the big picture. Of course we're the enemy. Because we know the globalists. We know their game plan. We study them, and we want prosperity. We want stability. We want the police to be constitutional and respected and to be guardians with the people of society, locally controlled. We want the citizens to have jobs and prosperity and to have an age of chivalry, return, and a new renaissance. We want to have a nation of quality and honor, a nation of strong male and female role models and strong families. We want what works. And the globalists have infected society with cultural, psychological warfare viruses on record to break up the family, to degenerate art and society. It's all been declassified. Just type in CIA, put out deviant art and pornography, and promoted the legalization of hardcore pornography. And I'm not up here on some high horse saying, you know, that I haven't been around the block. The whole point is that we know where this all came from. To sear the conscience so that when real things are going on that are bad, we are so desensitized we don't get up and resist it. I talk a lot about my grandfather, who was in 2 tours in World War II, 1 in aircraft, and after he was done with his missions, on the ground in Italy and then in Germany, and saw starving children, piles of dead bodies, the whole 9 yards. And he was a man's man, very popular, you know, elected into government. But he would not watch violent television or violent movies. And it wasn't because he couldn't handle it. It was because it was insulting to have seen a lot of real dead people and a lot of dead buddies and a lot of starving children. And then to see it turned into a joke on television. He wouldn't let my dad and his brother go see violent films. And if they were in a violent film, he'd get up and take them out of it. And it wasn't because he was a wimp. Yeah, he'd been a boxer and then had been put in a military academy and everything else before he even was sent off to the Army Air Corps. But he understood it was offensive. Because the image of violence, the image of sex, all it does, and the studies show this, is desensitize you from the real thing. It ruins real sex for you. And then it desensitizes violence where you don't care about your neighbor getting killed or drug off because you already saw that on television 1,000 times last month. It's brainwashing.
It seems that everywhere you turn to these days, people are talking about the health benefits of silver. But don't be fooled into believing all silver is the same. Only one silver solution has been clinically shown to be hundreds of times stronger than colloidal or ionic silver. That's supernatural silver. It can be used internally as a powerful immune system enhancer to fight off bacteria and viruses. Supernatural silver can be used topically to treat any type of wound or skin issue. It's even gentle enough to be used on the ears, eyes, and sinuses. And unlike harsh drugs and antibiotics, supernatural silver has no side effects. Available as a liquid or a gel that you can use every day to stay healthy and well. To experience outstanding customer service and to place your order, visit supernaturalsilver.com. Use the promo code SILVER2014 for 20% off your entire order. Give yourself and your loved ones a fighting chance with Supernatural Silver. Only at supernaturalsilver.com. Supernaturalsilver.com.
A chemical spill contaminating the water supply in 9 West Virginia counties.
This year alone, over 300,000 people in West Virginia had their drinking water contaminated.
What are the health effects of having these drugs in our drinking water?
It's forced medical treatment without the consent of residents.
My friends, water filtration is one of the most basic actions you can take to protect you and your family from the harmful toxins and heavy metals in your tap water.
On average, the county says it sprays with the glyphosate at least once a week.
Few filters cut out the glyphosate that is found in water supplies worldwide. Remove pesticides, herbicides, chloramines, hydrofluorosilicic acid, sodium hexafluorosilicate.
Fluoride, it is in tea, it's in coffee, it's in water, it's in bread, it's in toothpaste.
It is our responsibility to protect our families. The establishment's not going to do it. It's time to take action. It's time to filter our water. Visit InfoWarsStore.com and use promo code WATER to get 10% off their entire family of incredible products. Or call toll-free 888-253-3139.
On the average, Americans work between 45 to 50 years, hoping to build up enough wealth to retire and live out their golden years. Unfortunately, with taxation, the rising cost of food, energy, housing, and medical, many retirees are forced to live below the poverty line. Is this a flaw free enterprise, or is our monetary unit we call the Federal Reserve Note forcing us into perpetual debt, ensuring inflation and higher taxes? These questions and more can be answered by reading G. Edward Griffin's book, The Creature from Jekyll Island. Congressman Ron Paul states it's what every American needs to know about central bank power. A gripping adventure into the secret world of international banking cartel. Hi, this is Ted Anderson. I will give a silver dollar from the early 1900s to anyone who purchases this book. Call 1-800-686-2237 and order a copy today. It's critical that the public be made aware of the system. Call and order your copy today at 1-800-686-2237. That's 1-800-686-2237.
Time and time again.
You need to come here and help us. We need assistance, please.
Those we should be able to depend on let us down.
Federal and state and local officials saying help is on the way. Well, the folks here in Belle Harbor say, show me.
Don't depend on the government to save you. Take action now so that you're prepared for the next disaster with MyPatriotSupply.com. Get the best prices on storable food, non-GMO seeds, water filtration devices, home canning equipment, survival and self-reliance books, and more at MyPatriotSupply.com. Call 866-229-0927.
We are hurting down here, and we need help immediately.
Before it's time to survive, it's time to prepare. MyPatriotSupply.com. MyPatriotSupply.com.
Trouble so hard, ooh Lord, my trouble so hard. Don't nobody know my trouble but God. Don't nobody know my trouble.
All right, we're going to break down kill switches not being just put into cell phones, but into all electronics to surveil you and your family on record and to be turned off during globalist takeovers. And I'm going to air a clip from television in 1997 where Charlton Heston narrates discussing psyops against populations. So that's coming up in the next segment. We'll dovetail it with all of the latest economic and military news. This morning, I got physically angry, and I was very happy that I had the emotional response of becoming nauseous at the thought, and at first having a feeling of powerlessness, because that was my brain trying to figure out how to get out of it, how to defeat it, how to gain power over it, how to protect the species, how to protect the continuity of the genetics. I had some friends over this morning for breakfast, and one of them was a former nanny to my children who is pregnant and getting married. A few people just dropped by for a 45-minute long breakfast. And even though I've known this person for about 6 years, and she's smart, she goes, well, we're going to do some of the vaccines, we think, but not all of them. And I sat back and got on the computer on a laptop and was showing her mainline documents where there's cancer viruses in most of the vaccines, where polio actually gives people polio worldwide, mainstream headlines, but they call it paralysis, where they shot black people up for 47 years and kept it secret with syphilis and allowed them to spread it to hundreds of thousands of people, killing tens of thousands, and just well-known stuff. And she's like, oh, I did know about that. And I said, yeah, watch this news clip just from last week. I see one of these every few weeks without looking, and it's always a local newscast. It never makes it nationally. Where a 12 or 11-year-old girl takes the Gardasil shot, the HPV, and dies. She goes, oh, yeah, I know a lot of women that have gotten real sick from that, or their daughters have. Oh, no, I'd never take that. And I go, so you do know that's bad. And I go, do you remember Rick Perry saying it was the law, you had to take it? She goes, yeah, there were TV commercials with him saying it's the law. And so my head starts spinning. I want to get those videos again. I want to warn people. I get physically angry at a government lying and saying it's the law when there was no law, knowing it killed a bunch of people during the trials, because that's when it has, I mean, to be able to sterilize you, a large portion of women that take it, of course, it attacks the ovaries. That's now been confirmed. For that to happen, sometimes it's going to have a bigger effect and kill you. And it just hit me how evil this system is, and the eugenicists and all their documents and eco-science and all the admissions. And I had to sit there for 45 minutes and ruin what would have been a nice breakfast. As we sat there eating steak and eggs and bell peppers and onions, just pulling stuff up. And then my buddy that came over, my personal trainer, he never even told me all this stuff. He goes, yeah, my cousin, my aunt, total, natural, organic, homeschooled, kids never got sick, super healthy. Then he got into the Army Academy, gave him a bunch of shots, 6 months in a coma, brain damage, has to take pills every day now from the shots the Army gave him, and they admit the shots did it. And then the other person that was there started talking about people they knew that had been damaged, and then my grandmother says she got polio 2 weeks after getting it and has been on crutches ever since, is still alive at 89. And I just realized I've become too comfortable with this. And the doctors are compartmentalized, the nurses are compartmentalized. I mean, I'm the one that broke that they're secretly taking blood at birth for 43 years. And by the way, when I say that, I don't get a thrill that I broke that. I get nauseous and angry like I'm caught in a dog pile playing football with 10 big guys on me, and I can't breathe and I can't get out of it. Because I know I've gotten out of stuff before. I've moved the world before. And I know I've got the power to reach out to you to move the lever. Because after that broke, there's been all these lawsuits, global phenomenon, it's now known. And I just know we can get the lever, and we can literally tear Grendel's arm out of the socket if we have the will. But the only reason I have the power is through you. But I'm saying they're murdering us, folks. They're murderers.
We're on the